Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for listening today. My name's Ashley Wake, and I'm BD Director for Intertek UK in the C&P Group. And I'm joined today by my colleague Stacey Crane, who's a Business Development Manager within Intertek C&P. And together we're going to kind of give a double act presentation to what we believe are the 4 steps to putting together and, importantly, maintaining a perfect outsourcing relationship. So before we actually start the crust of the presentation, we'd just like to really share a sustainability moment with you. So sustainability is something that's really central to everything that we're doing at Intertek. And we're really proud of the work that we're doing in this area. And so therefore just want to spend a little time kind of bringing this to attention. So Intertek, we're really taking up the challenge by accelerating our progress and our own sustainability performance, as well as developing products and services to support our clients to meet their own sustainability agendas. And we're really proud by the fact that in 2020, we achieved a carbon neutral position in line with our commitment by reducing our carbon footprint of our direct operations. And even more prouder to kind of commit to by net zero emissions by 2050 and of joining the UN race to net zero. As well, I think it's really important that we give you kind of our context of how, where we are in this area and what we actually bring to it and where our expertise and experience that feed into this presentations come from. So Intertek is a global CRO. The branch that Stacey and I represent is in the UK. And really, as a group, we have over 30 years experience of providing analytical services to support the biopharmaceutical industry with expertise in large molecules, as well as in nasal and inhaled products. Through these 30 years, we've not only learned what we need to do right as a vendor, as a supplier to our clients, but also we've learned what makes the very best partnerships for our clients and what makes the very best partnerships, really importantly, from helping guide our products from development right through to manufacture and commercial release. And it's those sort of learnings that we really wanted to try and summarize and bring together and share with you today. So it's really important, I think, at the beginning, just to really sort of go over what we believe makes a true strategic partnership when we're talking about working with an outsourcing supplier. And I think in this, the real thing that comes to my mind is that an outsourcing supplier simply isn't a transactional data provider. That's not when the relationships work best. The relationships work best when they become a true part of our clients' internal product development teams or steering groups. And to do this, it means that both sides have to really work really hard on the kind of, I suppose, the obvious things such as communication. But this doesn't just mean in how often we set up meetings. This is making sure that we're speaking the same language, that we're using the same technology, that we're matching to our clients' needs. We have to have a lot of trust and transparency. As a supplier, it's sometimes very difficult to admit you've made mistakes. But without that, setting that groundwork where you can actually feel you can do that, you never get the trust, the transparency, and the engagement in the project. And Stacey's going to spend some time actually talking about some of the tools we use to actually drive these behaviours in the next slides.
Thank you, Ashley. So here we're going to specifically consider outsourcing in the pharmaceutical industry. This operating model is an established strategy in the pharma industry, and there is a growing trend in larger organisations adopting a more streamlined approach and thus working with more partner service providers. Outsourcing of CMC supporting laboratory services offers developers and manufacturers solutions to remain competitive and flexible in a world with challenging economic environment where there is a continual need for performance improvement. Strategic partnerships are particularly important for CMC activities throughout the development of a therapeutic drug, where pharma companies of all shapes and sizes can leverage the expertise of a CRO or CDMO relating to a specific molecule, delivery system, formulation, or technology. This is especially important in a regulatory environment where experience as well as quality are of prime importance. To develop a truly great strategic partnership, perhaps the first thing we need to acknowledge are the challenges such relationships can have. Although this is not a wholly inclusive list, four major themes come over to us throughout our years of working with our clients and discussing the issues that they may have encountered. The first is to do with ensuring your outsourcing partner has the right level of expertise and experience to fully support your program. That is not only able to produce a data set, but must be able to meaningfully interpret and advise on any issues that arise, as well as feeding into the overall direction and the strategy taken. Secondly, is concerned with the management of project drift. With the complexity of medicines combined with regulatory expectations, there is, at the onset of any program, a huge amount of difficulty to define exactly the requirements, which in reality may stretch to support over a number of years and encompassing a number of developmental changes. With all the best intentions and without any errors being made, the scope program is often in uncharted territory, and there is always a risk that any unforeseen issues may occur, requiring additional time and thus cost to remediate. Or there may be a new strategy that's put in place for the medicine itself, which requires refinement of approach, which again affects time and cost to achieve the promised deliverable. There is full appreciation on both sides that costs and time can be difficult to navigate when budgets have been set and deadlines are in place. The next area is related to one of the potential solutions to project drift and concerns ensuring complete transparency in between supplier and clients and vice versa. All suppliers strive to be the very best they can be and provide the best data and results to their clients, but things can go wrong despite the best intentions, and these are challenging discussions to be had. More so, it can sometimes be irrelevant for a client to pass on new information to a supplier, as it might not seem directly connected. However, these gaps in information can have consequences to the fit of the deliverable, and in a worst case scenario, result in the supplier wasting time reinventing the wheel. The final point here is relating to ensuring that as a client, you feel that you have control and confidence on timelines. When outsourcing a program, clients take on the risk that their chosen supplier might not deliver to their committed timelines. And more so, the management can feel outside of their direct control, which can be a major area of stress as deadlines approach. So, one of the first steps to overcoming these challenges is to ensure the close integration of planning and operations between partners. In an ideal relationship, the supplier becomes an effective extension of your laboratory and project teams. Beyond sharing information and good communication, which is paramount, this also extends to integration of processes and coordinating planning, risk identification, and joint decision making. For example, if due to a supplier internal specification, a process needs to be run in a certain way, this needs to be communicated early on in the program. This may be something obvious for internal stakeholders, but this may not be obvious for suppliers. And without this close communication on all aspects of the program, the requirement is often missed or misunderstood. By positioning joint management teams internally and externally who can facilitate communication, this team can define escalation paths to joint steering committees or to executive steering committee when necessary. As a team, they should consider the whole spectrum of the analytical activities and potential issues and anticipate and plan options for managing them, as well as jointly owning issues and living the whole program together. So, typically, these joint management teams contain supplier and sponsor representatives from all of the areas listed on the slides here. These include procurement directors, outsourcing managers, technical team management, but also technical team and technical experts in the laboratories. Each of the members of the team have a distinct role and interest in the partnership. And through regular meetings have the chance to ask detail on their own particular area of interest. Collaboration here works best on the basis of bringing in other personnel as required, so that the person most closely involved in the project delivers the information to the client. This reduces the need for questions to be taken outside of any meeting, and this helps decisions to be made. As well as establishing practice for open communication and integration of teams, at the beginning of any relationship, working together to set a meaningful KPIs that will monitor those areas considered most vital and to both the sponsor and the supplier is incredibly important. Having these metrics in place ensures that if the supplier is missing the mark, they hear about it in a timely manner and have the opportunity to put improvement plans in place to mitigate before there is a major issue encountered by either side. This additionally provides an outlet for honest feedback and a safe platform that is vital for transparency. So introducing these KPIs has a huge number of benefits. On top of mitigating potential performance, they can also help to improve trust and increase visibility of data, maintain high levels of service by highlighting the positives. They can flag areas of concern for the supplier to focus on, and they can score a supplier for the qualitative comparison across your supply chain. Also important is flexible resourcing that meets your needs and having access to the personnel that can truly help develop your project. So, what works for you? What program works? Whilst this may not seem like an important decision at the onset of a new relationship, ensuring that the supplier you choose is flexible and can provide variation in the modes of contracts is an important step to ensuring that as a sponsor, you have absolute control in your program and the ability to make changes in a timely fashion without renegotiating the contract at all. There are multiple modes of working within the sphere of the outsourcing environment. These include arrangements where partner staff can be embedded in a sponsor organisation, or more of a transactional relationship where a defined set of testing is performed on a case-by-case basis. There is also the option of full-time equivalents or FTE agreements, or a mix of multiple modes of working. You need to find out what's right for you. This doesn't actually influence the content or the quality of the deliverable, it's just simply the way that it is contracted. Transactional agreements, or what we tend to call fee for service, work best where there's a very defined program of work. In these instances, a single contract is defined on the outset and changes are required through a change order. However, we also have the option of the FTE agreements, and these are used supporting maybe an early development program where there is scope for change, and a full-time agreement can be highly beneficial mode of working. Within an FTE contract, the supplier provides a team which is suitably aligned to the project for a specific period with a pricing model based on the fixed rate per FTE unit. This allows the team to be flexible and aligned with the changing requirements needed for a developmental program. So, the last thing I really wanted to talk about is expertise alignment. When choosing a potential CRO, it's really important to make sure that they have the correct expertise and experience in the field. You need to be confident that your partner knows what they are doing and what they are talking about. Maybe you need to look at their thought leadership to make sure what they're talking about is aligned with what your company wants. Look at their core values and beliefs of the company. Does that align with yours? Are CVs of key members of the technical team available for you to view? If not, then this is a flag. Maybe they don't have the correct technical team to help with your project. What are the employee training programs like? Are staff specifically trained in an area that's of interest to you? For instance, if you have an inhalation molecule and you're looking to outsource this, are the staff trained in aerodynamic particle size distribution and NGIs? If not, then that's not going to work for your project. Maybe you could start with a small piece of work first and really test the project, test the waters with that. That's absolutely fine to do. We do not have a problem with that. Build up that trust with your partner. So I just wanted to say, I hope that we have shown that there are 4 main considerations for a perfect outsourcing partnership with a CRO that helps you build trust, optimize cost efficiencies, and mitigate risks. These are communication, working with a mode that's right for you, focusing on critical attributes, and leveraging partnership benefits. If you would like a more comprehensive version of what we've discussed today, there is a white paper available. Please get in touch if you would like a copy.